He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Greetings, citizens of Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the show that you all should have seen coming, considering how we did the last two. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And as per usual, making another hot entrance, I am the co-host, Niall McGowan.
Damn. Always keeping it hot.
I was going to make that joke.
Well, it's all right. We'll just edit Niall out. He doesn't have to have a cool entrance. Yes, as you heard there, people, we have returning once more from Monday. First up, we have Tierney Steele of MASH Minute.
Hello!
I went with MASH this time. I thought that was a good one. You've got a lot there to go on.
It's fun to say MASH.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. There's like the MASH Minute. It's like a nice sound in the mouth. Mm. Yes, and also joining us, we have our very own wunderkind flying through the skies. We have a Robin Burdge of Fright Night Minute.
I'm wondering if we get some kind of horn.
Oh, why not?
There's always room for horn.
We've all got the horn from Niall's hot entrance. And this is minute 5 of the movie. The minute starts with our Tommy boy revealing all, and it ends with Val's dulcet tones.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes, that voice.
Well, I was to say as a quick addendum, because it was in the ending seconds of the last minute, but people might remember last week I said that on the UK, in the initial European video release of Batman Forever, there were several lines and whatnot cut, which, because I watched it so much as a kid, now when I see it now in its uncut form, I'm like, what the hell's that line doing? That didn't used to be there. Nothing like live bait to trap a bat was another line that was cut. Inexplicably, I guess. Maybe because you see quite a grotesque, look at Two-Face's face. But you did elsewhere in the video, so it was just like... But apparently they cut it down by 1 minute and 58 seconds, and that was one of the lines that they cut. So there's that as a little bit of trivia there.
Which is too bad, because I kind of needed that line, to... Like I said, I didn't know... Going into this, I hadn't read the comics. I didn't know who Two-Face was. I had seen Batman Returns, and I was obsessed with Catwoman, and they said there was a new Batman, and I said sure, and... I was just plopped right into this, so anything that gave me some context for what was going on was appreciated.
This time, Jim Carrey's wearing the cat suits.
Basically, yeah.
Well, there you go, gender flip. Jim Carrey as Catwoman. But now.
It's just, this... I actually wrote down for this minute, good God, that entrance, and then we are not in Michael Keaton land anymore.
Oh,
because
no, baby.
Michael Keaton would not... This is not how he would enter this movie, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't try and look cool half the time, did he? He was more skulking.
Therefore, making him cool.
Making him cool, yeah, in a different way.
I actually like this entrance. It's very comic booky, especially with the bat. We're talking about Val Kilmer's entrance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The literal hot entrance.
Yes. The bat symbol, the Batmobile on the overpass. This looks like a one-page panel right here.
Yeah, I could picture that totally, because they try and cram all those things in, don't they? So Batman's coming in. You can't just have Batman entering the scene. No, you have to have the Batmobiles over there. You've got the signal up in the sky. You have to cram it full of stuff to make it exciting.
Yeah,
and that's what they've done.
Just gonna let that hang
at the start
out
of this
there.
minute, we do get a brief glimpse of Two-Face, and then we cut to the hot entrance in question, and we get to see Gordon. He's back, baby, and he's got a line. How far he's come. He's talking and everything.
And this is what I was referring to in my opening line. I don't know if you guys caught it, but as we're coming in, he's saying to Chase, I'm wondering if we can get some kind of a horn. And I don't know what he's talking about.
They're going to, talk to Two-Face?
I think that's what he means, like a kind of like a bullhorn
Gotta
thing.
be.
A bullhorn? Okay, a bullhorn's different than just a horn.
But even so, like I wonder if we can get some kind of a horn. Like, you're the police. You should have access to this stuff.
It should be in the car behind you, I'm sure.
But all that's going through Chase Meridian's head is like, this town needs Batman. If this is the guy, this is the police commissioner, and all he can think to say in this situation is, maybe we can get some kind of a horn up there.
She is.
some kind, like he's inventing a bullhorn.
Yeah.
Some kind of device to talk to him up there. I don't know.
It's like we have literally no other ideas.
She is so cool, though. Can I just say, as like the person who was identifying as female in, was it 94, 95, whatever year this came out, and was just like, when I grow up, that's what being a grown-up will be like. It
Really?
wasn't.
Oh, you were a fan.
It wasn't. No one actually looks and talks as cool as Chase Meridian does.
Are you a fan now? Because I could imagine some people finding her a bit of a problem.
Well, I do have the note that I love Gordon being like, stop licking your lips at each other and stop Two-Face. So I
Well, that's a
have
good point.
some questions about the acting in this movie, but
Yeah,
overall,
she is thirsty.
she's
Yeah.
she is, but I kind of like that now as an adult, looking back and be like, oh, she's thirsty for Batman. Good on her.
Yeah, but she knows what she wants. Yeah.
I think the only problem is that that's her one note, and she just plays that note the entire movie. Like, it's just like, I want to have your bat babies back. That might not even be accurate. It's just, I don't even want to have a family with you. I just want to. I want to you, Batman.
She wants
That's
to
all
bone
she's
the bat.
Niall, beep that out.
No, she wants to bone the bat. No beating
Yeah.
required.
Oh, bone the bat.
She is Dr. Thirst Meridian. That's like, you might as well have just called her that. Because that's the thing, like, I'm guessing you say like she's called Dr. Chase because like, oh, she's chasing Batman, but like he wouldn't have to chase her. She's right there ready for him.
I was curious if Chase Meridian is a name from the comics. Because it's such a... Like, yes, people are named Chase, and yes, people would have the last... It just sounds so comic booky.
Yeah, it's not from the comics that, but they've clearly come up with the name to be silly and comic booky and ridiculous. It's almost like a Bond girl would have a name like that. It's not. It's not
Okay,
quite as dirty with the name, but you know.
Yeah.
I almost think this character is constructed as like a combination of Catwoman and Vicky Vale. Like this is a normal civilian that doesn't have any powers, but she's very thirsty. Like
Oh yeah, that's the full on the Catwoman vibe. I think like the way Catwoman just like that weird flirting all in the last movie. That's kind of. I mean, theirs is violent. This isn't violent, but it's there from second one in this. They both want each other. I think Batman after the first opening dialogue, he instantly goes like, "Oh, actually."
The thing is though, like everything about their dialogue is like, if you play this another way, this could be them hating each other because it seems like they're winding each other up, but like
it could be.
Oh, they're winding each other up.
Oh, yeah. Well, who isn't wound up by a man in fetish gear ziplining into the fray? You know?
God, I cannot tell if this is terrible writing or fantastic writing.
Both.
I will say, though, because I did look up the definition of the word meridian, because weirdly enough, in the bachelor's draft, spelt differently, and then Akiva Goldsman corrected it to the actual spelling of meridian for them. But a meridian is defined as a large imaginary circle that passes through two poles, particularly on a globe, or the highest stage of development. So it's kind of like she's the divide between two worlds, like the duality of Batman and Bruce Wayne. She's merging those two halves together because she's Bruce's meridian. And then I guess Dr. Chase Meridian is like, is Batman chasing his own meridian? Is it the fact that she's chasing after Batman? Is that why?
Yeah, she's chasing people who have two poles.
There's a whole bunch of stuff in this movie. Like, apparently Joel Schumacher and the screenwriters really sold Tim Burton as if he needed to be sold and someone else taking over the franchise from him. But apparently they brought up like, oh, Batman's all about duality. And he's like, yes, that's it. Perfect. But like, there's a lot of stuff in there where like, oh yes, duality. They have the weird thing with the dream doll later and like all the black and white sides of it and Two Faces there is and it's like, oh, Bruce Wayne, Batman, duality, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, they don't really know how to deliver it. Like, it's sort of there as a concept, but it's just sort of in the ether of like, this is a thing, right? Like, duality. Yeah, you know.
Well, and also, so they mentioned that Chase is an author, and meeting someone who's read your work is, and can quote it back to, like, this is kind of the ultimate author's dream, but it is played in a way that, like, no human being has ever said these words like this before.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, this could have been, like, these two could have ended up hating each other. Because it's like, oh, I've read your work. Insightful. Naive, but insightful. Like, you imagine you're a fully qualified, published psychologist, and some asshat who's clearly a complete nut job.
In a bat outfit.
And then calls your work naive. You'd be like, oh, go fuck yourself, buddy. Like, what? I'm naive? Look at you. Like, who do you think you are?
That would be amazing if she said that. I mean, she says that, but in her thirsty, flirty, not actually insulting him way, so you don't get the fun of her telling him, you're dressed like a bat. Who the hell are you to say anything?
Maybe it's meant to be that kind of, you know, when young kids like each other and they don't really understand how and why and what's going on, and they kind of tease each other. It's that kind of a vibe I'm getting. Like, she actually quite likes that he said it's naive. He's not sucking up. I think it's like she can take, because she does bat back in the next minute. Bat back. But I think it's, again, it is part of the dangerous flirtation of, like, oh, maybe do we like each other? Maybe don't we like each other? What is this? Is the chase, maybe? Well, they don't really play on that, though. They could, because as you say, this line could be, well, this whole interaction at the start could be seen as them, they don't really get on, there's a tension, but it never goes back to that tension. After this, it's just like, yep.
I think it's because Nicole Kidman's note is, like, there ain't no, like, tension. This is like, I want him. And that's it. There's no tension on my end.
When will he give in?
Because it might as well be just Pepe Le Pew coming over, just like, oh, Batman, mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you so much, Batman. Mwah, mwah.
I like as well the way Batman, like when she says the hot entrance line, he just completely ignores that at first. Because you can see he's thinking, like, who the hell is this?
Yeah, he has no response to that.
He's just like, okay.
Right. So the crazy lady, Gordon.
And you get Gordon with one of my favorite things, because he doesn't breathe. He doesn't enunciate. He comes out with this line to Batman. I don't even think I can deliver it. He goes, 2 guards are dead and he's holding a 3rd hostage. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's this running record of Pat Hingle. Like, remember the first scene he was in Batman Returns? Was like, thanks for saving the day, Batman. I think the second Batman back. It's like, dude, are you on the clock or something? Like, what's the one?
I'm assuming if Two-Face is so dedicated to the twos that, you know, he comes into a room with 3 potential victims. He's like, I can't divide this.
No, you've ruined the whole
What do I do?
Well, we'll say, for one thing, like, you know, very happy to see the return of Pat Hingle, Martin Patterson Hingle, as he is. And between Batman Returns and Batman Forever, this guy is a working actor. 9 projects. He was in 9 things. Including Citizen Khan with James Woods, The Habitation of Dragons, which sounds like it'd be very, very exciting, but apparently is like some humdrum family drama about 2 brothers of totally different natures living in small town Texas. Like, oh, that sounds really boring. Look, they don't put dragons in the title unless you can deliver either Bruce Lee or an actual goddamn dragon. He played Earl Warren in American Experience. He was the former owner of Cheers in an episode of Cheers. And then he was also in Lightning Jack with Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee to everybody else. He appeared in several episodes of In the Heat of the Night. And then the TV movie Against Her Will, the Carrie Bucks story. Then One Christmas as bus driver. And then prior to Batman Forever, speaking of Spider-Man, he starred in Sam Raimi's The Quick and the Dead as Horace the bartender. So calling back to his previous Cheers ownership experience there, no doubt. But yeah, so like Pat Hingle, like we know that between him and Michael Goff, both like between Batman and Batman Returns, were just like steady working. Like they were in demand as character actors. And yeah, between
they're both great at it.
Yeah. But it's just weird because you see some people's on IMDb and they're like, they work every once in a while. But these guys are just like pounding the beat, just like every day. It's like every line is a paycheck. Just like, well, get me in. I need the money. I need the money. Whatever. But
it's so funny how like you said, Goff and Hingle they bridge the Keaton and the Kilmer Batman, there's so much made of the fact that Judi Dench was M for the Brosnan bond and then the Craig bond. There's not much made of the fact that they also kept the same Alfred and Commissioner Gordon for two different Batman.
Yeah, well, there is actually. I will say this actually. In terms of continuity, the novelization by Peter David has a prior scene that's not in the movie. I don't think it was in any of the scripts or anything. I think I mentioned online somewhere, 67 pages of that novelization before it gets to the film. Like, he added so much stuff at the start.
Wow.
And he actually has a whole scene where, like, at this point, you might be wondering, like, people are treating Batman like he's a hero when he shows up. Whereas we saw him in continuity of the last movie. The last time people saw Batman, his Batmobile was under the control of the Penguin, and he never cleared his name of that. He got Oswald Cobblepot found out as being corrupt, but no one ever found out, like, oh, the Penguin was controlling Batman's car and stuff. But there is, within the novelization, Harvey Dent, like, pre-scarring Harvey Dent, meets with Batman on a rooftop. And it actually clarifies, like, why the public would once again trust Batman. And it actually does establish that, like, oh yeah, this is the same guy. It's all the same stuff. So I'll read it out very quickly, where it says, Batman made no attempt to step backward. Harvey took a few steps, then stopped. As an officer of the court, I must advise you to report to the nearest police station and submit yourself to arrest. Batman studied him a moment and said, if you're referring to that business with the Penguin, his gang can tell you everything you need to know. Dent replies, well, they've disappeared. We're looking out for them, but as if Dent hadn't spoken, Batman continued, they're holed up in a warehouse at 73rd and Grand. There's a secret room through a revolving door on the northwest side. There was a slight glitter from his nearby invisible eyes. I'm presuming you can get the truth out of them. And Dent replies, if you knew where they are, why didn't you go and get them? And Batman says, are you advocating vigilantism? There was a briefest flash of a smile, and then his face grew serious again, and he says, I wanted you to be able to take credit for the arrest. I wanted to show you that I'm capable of working with the authorities. Gordon knows this already, you don't seem to. And then, in an interesting twist, which is not hinted at throughout the rest of the film at all, it establishes that at this point of his career, Harvey Dent had been DA for a while, was going to quit. He was going to, wasn't planning to return. And then Batman says, with my help, use my knowledge, I beg of you, basically. Says, like, if you go for DA again, I can be your guy on the inside. We can really clean up the city. And Harvey Dent's like, I'm starting to start a family. I told my wife I was out and stuff. And he's like, no, just do this one more term. I promise we'll clean up the city. And Dent's like, and he says, like, I'll make sure that nothing happens to you. And Dent's like, you're guaranteeing you can protect me from any consequences of your actions. And Batman's like, yep. And of course, then that would go on to fuel why Two-Face hates Batman so much, because he was almost out. And then Batman insisted he stay in for one more round, and look what happened to him.
He was one day away from retirement.
Exactly, yeah. But I just thought that was a really interesting part of the novelization. Like, they established the continuity. It's like, oh, this is why it was all cleared up about the Batman and the Penguin and stuff. And also establishing crucial character points about Two-Face that are not in the finished film.
I love that Batman's like, bring in Penguin's henchmen. They'll clear my name. Like, oh, Batman, he's not with us.
All of the Penguin's henchmen cleared out at the end of Batman Returns too. They probably said,
it was the monkey.
oh man, they brought the monkey, told them everything.
Yep.
I just see a penguin sitting in an interrogation room under the lights. You're not going to get anything out of me, Kappa. He's just got like a small gun taped to the small of his back or something. It's like underneath where the rocket was.
Going back to Chase as well is, she says they should have seen this coming. Now, the reasoning is because he is attacking the second bank of Gotham on the second anniversary of Batman capturing him. Isn't that a stretch? We should have seen this coming. Of course. And then the Goldsman draft complicates it even more, because they also add another layer of $2 million were waiting to be transferred from the second bank of Gotham on the 22nd. How could Harvey Two-Face resist?
See, that's the thing. I prefer having that, because that way you're looking at like, wow, so many multiple twos. Maybe that should have tipped someone off. Like,
but I don't think that would tip anyone off. Like, Two-Face doesn't only act on twos. That's not his thing.
No, but if there was $2 million transferring on the 22nd from the second bank of, like, eventually you'd be looking at the sentence being like, Something about this feels familiar.
It makes more sense than what we get in the finished film, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could kind of, because the fact like, they know Harvey Dent's escaped from Arkham, so you think they might have been like, maybe she would stock out some places to do with the number 2, but that 2 million transfer would be the giveaway. Like, we should have seen this coming.
Yeah.
Really, but that's like you strike at exactly 22 minutes past 10 p.m.
Yeah.
for the two.
The whole idea of it being the 2nd anniversary, like maybe it could have been like, oh, we should have expected him to do something today.
Yeah,
maybe he breaks out on the anniversary, because in this it seems to imply how long's he been out in the finished film, whereas if you had that beginning bit, you know, where he breaks out and stuff, and he's breaking out on the anniversary of his capture, then you're like, oh, he's up to something, he's gonna do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I get on board with that.
But instead we need a joke about a sandwich.
It's less of a like, oh, we should have known. It's more like I would have preferred Chase going, hey, interesting bit of trivia.
That would make more
it's
sense.
Like it's the 2nd anniversary, and and it's almost like those like nostalgia posts you see like every day, like 24 years ago this show premiered, and it's like, yeah.
I would have really liked if they had a prior thing of Chase Meridian was constantly phoning up Gordon, going like, Two-Face is going to strike here at this time, and Gordon like blah, 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 and just not, and her trying to get in touch with Batman, no one listened to her. And then when it happens, like, the police all show up, and she's just sitting there reading a paper in the corner going, oh, finally you showed up. Yeah, well, Two-Face is robbing this friggin' bank. Like, oh, we should get a horn to see if we can talk to him. Like, oh, you goddamn idiots.
Yeah, I don't know. Did Gordon think, okay, I'm not sure if the Batman's coming. I'm going to bring this renowned, psychologist out, and we're going to have her talk to Two-Face through a loudspeaker. And
if you can invent one.
I can't overemphasize though. Despite the fact that it's a kind of almost a one-note performance, Nicole Kidman is really, really terrific just in her actual acting.
Oh,
in the
I
scene.
have that note for next minute, but I can say it now. We should have all seen how good Nicole Kidman is in Big Little Lies coming.
Yeah.
When she finishes off tomorrow, this little exchange about the bat and
yeah.
It's next minute, but when she goes, really? Or interesting? Or whatever it is, and I was just like, oh, I was getting major modern Nicole Kidman vibes off it.
Mm.
Oh, this is the same year her big role, when she starred in To Die For, which is a great movie.
And that's a real, that was the kind of, To Die For was the movie that made, like, Nicole Kidman, not just Mrs. Tom Cruise. Like, she's the real deal.
I was just looking up, listeners may have noticed that I actually shut up for more than a minute because I was figuring out where in her personal life this movie lined up. And so it was pretty early because I didn't realize she was married to Tom Cruise until 2001. Like, that feels recent. Because they always show that picture, be as happy as Nicole Kidman walking out of the divorce lawyer's office after signing the papers. And I always assumed that picture was from, like, pre-Practical Magic. It is definitely not.
Oh, no.
It is
way
much more recent than I realized. And I just learned my favorite bit of Nicole Kidman trivia because I was looking at her IMDb, and apparently she is also afraid of butterflies, and I feel very happy to know that I am not alone.
Me too.
Oh, people love them, and they're flying bugs. What's wrong with everybody?
They're just daytime moths.
Yes.
They're both in cahoots with each other.
Yes, I hate moths. So butterflies aren't great.
She definitely ain't afraid of flying rodents. I'll tell you that, because...
Oh.
Whoa, rodents?
Yeah, what's your words there, Niall?
Yeah.
Come on.
I will say, I've loved, though, the fact when Batman lands, that, like, she grabs his hand. It's like a proper, like, he's not offering it up. She's like, Dr. Chase Meridian, grabbing his hand and properly giving it a firm handshake. Batman's going to suffer this later on in the movie as well, when Edward Nygma comes up to him. Bruce Wayne, like, people keep shaking my goddamn hand. I don't want them to shake it.
She is so awkward in this. Like, this is so good. You're right. She shakes his hand, then he ignores her line. He's like, look, my buddy Gordon and I are going to talk for a while.
You go over there. But she persists. Like, she plants the image of the bedroom in his mind, because she says, when she finds out he's read her work, she says, not every girl makes a superhero's night table.
Yeah.
She's really pushing this image of the bedroom
It's
into his head.
such
She's
a good
manipulating.
line, though. Maybe I'm telling on myself being an author, but like, man, what a line.
Batman could have topped it by looking at her and going, "I don't read in bed."
Oh, yeah. He would come out with something like that. That's very Batman.
That's the Bond movie.
I am impressed that Batman doesn't try and get rid of her, though, because, mentioning Bond, I think I've brought this up on the show before. I was watching, I think it's Goldfinger, I think. It's one of the early Bonds. And he's about to meet with the villain, as he always does. And he's talking to a woman by the side of the pool. And when the villain comes over, he just slaps her on the behind and says, "Run along now, man talk." You can't.
That's when he's wearing his little blue. I don't know what the heck
that jumpsuit thing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The shorts.
And it's just like, not only could you not say that now, but I am impressed that Batman here. The times have changed. Like, he doesn't say "go away," because she is.
He just ghosts her. That's all he does.
She is an expert in her own right. He might not appreciate that she's there, but okay, she is here.
Yeah.
And in weird fashion, though, because like Gordon wants to reason with Harvey, and Chase says, "Oh no, that'll do no good." But I know she's an expert, but shouldn't Gordon know Harvey more?
Yeah. Oh, you think like classically Harvey Dent is supposed to be a friend of Jim Gordon's.
Yeah.
Like,
or is that the problem, though? Is that the problem? Can he not separate Two-Face from his old friend?
Well, this is because Gordon's so underserved in all these movies that it's just like, I don't think it ever would have crossed anybody's mind to indicate that they even had a past relationship. It's just more Gordon's just there because he showed
DA and the chief of police.
Yeah. Well, like, we know that they have a previous relationship, I guess, because we saw them in *89 together. But like beyond that, it's just more. He's just like, oh yeah, I guess it's friggin' that guy I used to work with is up there. But like, it's like Jimmy in accounting. Apparently, he's gone crazy and held up the bank.
Don't they? I mean, I'm not involved in this world, but shouldn't the DA and the chief of police be quite close in their working relationship?
Yeah, no,
very aware of each other.
You'd think so. Yeah.
I mean, like, as we'll be talking about on the Patreon, John, in the Long Halloween and Dark Victory, published after this movie came out. So maybe they were taking their notes of like, this should have been what they were emphasizing.
Allowed to complain about things that happen in movies that you guys will be covering very far in the future?
Oh, go ahead.
I've never been madder than when Gary Oldman said Bruce Wayne, because it felt like, the Commissioner Gordon character has existed for how many decades before I was even born, and my entire life. Like, it's fine if he didn't put it together on his own, but in that minute, Commissioner Gordon realizes that Batman is Bruce Wayne. Gary Oldman is a very good actor. All he had to do was look at the thing. He didn't need to say it out loud. Infuriated me.
Any skill that Chris Nolan had in handling the Bat franchise by the end of that movie was just fumbled out of his fingers, basically.
It was insane. The setup was fine, everything was fine, until he opened his gosh darned mouth.
But although talking about Gordon, just this week we've got a new Gordon. He's been cast, Jeffrey Wright. I was excited because Dr. Valentine Narcisse from Boardwalk Empire. I love that guy, and so I'm very very happy. The thing is, though, I'm very happy to see that he's there, but at the same time, it's kind of like, of course Jeffrey Wright could do that. He could do that in his sleep. Like that's just of course, he just has like dogged, worn out, world weary kind of like guy who's great at his job, but has just gone through so much crap. He's just like, oh boy, I guess I'm calling him Batman. Like he is perfect for the part, but it's almost like if they said Jonah Hill was playing Commissioner Gordon, I would have been like, ooh, that's unexpected. But
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll be great if they give Jeffrey Wright something to do as Gordon. Though, I mean, if he's just there like lighting the signal and sending Batman on his way, it's not going to be a really good use of him.
I'm hoping because they have established it's supposed to be early days Batman, so I'm hoping that it'll be like, well, we did see it with Batman Begins, I guess, already, but like I hope it'll be like the establishment of Batman within the city, so you will get a lot of Gordon as being like the the Meridian, if you will, between Batman and the rest of the city.
Oh, that's so funny you say that. Have you read about this, Niall? I have a note here that the Batman wiki states this. That is part of the name. It says not only did she chase after Batman, but as a psychologist was involved in chasing the Meridian. In other words, chasing after the halfway point in human beings, one that is neither too high or too low, i.e. bringing balance to human lives.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
She also chases after the halfway point between Bruce Wayne and Batman. And tries to reconcile her love for both sides of the same man.
And Nicole Kidman is like, all Joe Schumacher said to me was horn dog. And that's all. That was the note I was given. If I'd read all of that, maybe I would have been a lot more nuanced.
Now, how weird would it be if we get future Batman again and Commissioner Gordon is played by, no makeup, Tommy Lee Jones?
I could see him playing Gordon.
See?
Actually. Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones would make a
face
great
for it.
Commissioner Gordon.
He looks grizzled. He looks like he's seen rough stuff on those
But
streets.
he doesn't want to do any rough stuff now.
Yeah.
No.
But
He's
he's
behind the
done
desk
it.
now.
You
He's
know he
old,
could.
busted, spent.
That's the thing, like, Tommy Lee Jones, in principle, is a good choice for Two-Face. He's just, what he was told to do was just not the right version of the character. But him as, like,
but he's doing it well.
But, like, as grizzled down, hard-working DA pushed over the edge and turned into, like, a psychopath. But, like, a really vicious, cold psychopath who flips between, like, empathy and just, like, hardcore evil.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones could have played that great. But, like, he's just like, no, I saw that Jack Nicholson played the Joker. And I guess Two-Face is the Joker, right? So I'll play him exactly the same way. He wears a purple suit, I got a purple face, it's the same character.
I got the script, and it says it was just in all caps, so that's pretty I based my performance on that.
We get a good
He
line
was
as
49 when he was Two-Faced, by the way.
49.
Yeah,
That is not that old.
No.
Oh
No.
my god.
He definitely... I don't mean this as an insult to him. He looks old.
Yeah.
And is it one of those things where people from that generation, they just always seem older? Like, you see pictures of them when they're like, this is me at 20. And like, you look about 48.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was rougher times.
I just saw him in Ad Astra. He's 73 now, and he pretty much looks the same.
Yeah, so I was like,
a little more
maybe
wrinkly.
that's just what 49-year-olds look like.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I'm approaching, as we record, I'm not approaching. I'm coming out of my 30s, like as in early 30s. Is what. Let me start that
I was
again.
like, did we skip
How
10
you
years
doing?
ago?
I meant to say early 30s.
You all
now.
right over there?
I'm going to do that again. I'm coming out of my early 30s. I'm going to be 34 soon. So, I'm getting to the midway point there. I remember when my dad turned 40 quite vividly. And he seemed like an old man to me when I was a kid. Like, 40, he's a grown-up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I approaching 35, I don't feel like a grown-up at all.
Well, we'll say, actually, interestingly, with Nicole Kidman here, she's 28 at this point.
Good God.
And the thing is,
She looks
it's one
way
of those...
older than me, and
a
I mean that as a
baby.
positive.
The thing is, it's slightly... It's a thing that always slightly bugs me, particularly within Batman movies, is that because I've now been out living in the world. So she's an acclaimed, published psychiatrist at 28. And it's like, well, to become a psychiatrist, you have to go through 7 years of medical school and then several more years of studying just psychiatry. And then to be that acclaimed that you get a publishing deal and a book out. Or just articles or whatever she's
She
got
should
on.
be in her
She would
50s.
have to be... Well, at least mid-30s.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's just... It really bugged me. I think I brought it up when I was on Suicide Squad Minute. The fact that, like, I can kind of buy maybe that Margot Robbie is... Even though she's mid-20s in real life, I could kind of buy, like, well, maybe this Harley is old enough to have gone through it. She still looks way too young to me, but I could almost buy that, like... If you told me she was 33, I could buy that and then be like, I guess she could have done all the things she's supposed to have done to get to this stage of her life. But, like, friggin' Cara Delevingne is, like, acclaimed archaeologist Dr. June Moon. Cara Delevingne looks like 17 years old. Like, it's just... from the word go, when they called her Dr. Moon in it, I was like, she's not a doctor. She doesn't look anywhere near old enough to be a doctor. Like, you could have cast her in any other part, but don't don't try to tell me. Like Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark as a doctor of archaeology. He's a young guy in it, but he still looks like he's old and experienced enough to have been studying archaeology and to have become an acclaimed doctorate and whatnot. But Cara Delevingne just looks like, no, she looks like a high school student. I don't buy this at all. And it's the same with Dr. Chase Meridian. It's like, I think now knowing that she's 28, they were skewing a bit too young with the casting. But
I buy her, though, as like early 30s, though. Not that she looks...
It never occurred to me she was supposed to be in her 20s in this shot.
Yeah.
No. And again, not as an insult to her. She looks great, but...
Oh, yeah.
She's just got a mature vibe.
And we'll say also, people might know that Dr. Chase Meridian, in the initial stages of casting, when they thought that Michael Keaton would be still playing Batman, the part was originally offered to Rene Russo. And then when when Keaton dropped out, they gave it to... the studio said Rene Russo is too old for this part because she'd have to play off Val Kilmer. But the thing is, I looked into all the ages. At this point, Rene Russo would have been 41.
Okay.
And Michael Keaton would have been 44. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But Val Kilmer was 36 here.
Oh, that's not that different then.
Yeah.
But the thing is, not only is it not that different, he's closer in age to Rene Russo than he is to Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of Hollywood sleaze bag, like, no. We need to get the hot girl thing.
Yeah.
It's
That's what
okay.
it is.
Rene Russo went on to do the Thomas Crown Affair remake. And if any of your listeners have not seen that movie, they should pause this podcast. Obviously, come back. Give these guys their numbers, but go watch that
Don't
movie.
advocate pausing.
Oh, come on. Pierce Brosnan.
But the thing is, in reading that, I was like, I really, really wish they had offered it to Sean Young first. And then went, Michael Keaton's not doing it anymore, Sean. You're out again. And she was just like, God damn it, 3 times!
Oh, no. I think that would have really just sent her over the edge.
Yeah, she would have just become Two-Face in real life. It was like, Sean Young's taken over the young bank on the youngest day of the year. We should have saw this coming. The January 1st, I guess, would be the youngest day of the year. 1 minute past midnight on January 1st. That's when Sean Young strikes.
Sean Young strikes. She should just be a Batman villain, Sean Young. Don't give her a character.
Yeah,
just it's Sean
that.
as herself.
I actively campaigning. Like now with the casting of Jeffrey Wright, we've lost our Natasha Lyonne for Commissioner Gordon campaign. That's not going to happen.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah.
But I still want Sean Young. Give her a Batman movie. Just let her be in one. It's just a voice in an animated movie or something.
Anything. Just give her something. In a video game.
Yeah, just let the woman just get it out of her system. Because she wanted to be in these movies so damn much. And she still does. Just give it to her. Just let her play the part.
At this point, it's just out of spite, isn't it? So Batman says that a trauma powerful enough to create an alternate personality leaves one, and then Chase cuts in. And she says, in a world where normal rules of right and wrong, we don't know. The minute ends. What is this world?
The world we've never made, John.
Oh, but it's interesting. They're actually getting, for this movie, somewhat deep in the discussion here. This is the only time they really approach the mental health angle and things like that.
Well, it's the only time in the finished film. Again, the relationship with Dr. Chase Meridian in the Red Book edition, which makes it sound like it's a Batman porno, quite frankly. But the Batman,
the Red Shoe Diaries, the Batman edition.
But of course, there's like the famed because you got all the deleted scenes, and apparently there is a famed Red Book edition where someone has inserted them all back in and put the music on and stuff. I'll have to see if I can track it down, but you can kind of make it up yourself by just watching the deleted scenes. That does go in a lot more into the psychology of Bruce Wayne, but it's just that damn edit. It was just the way it came out it came out after the editing room, where you do get like a little tantalizing tease of this is interesting. Let's forget about it. But yeah, do you guys have anything else you want to go into at this particular minute, or?
Well, I noticed the setting they're in, right? So it seems like we're in the Chinatown section of Gotham.
Yeah,
because there's like lots of kanji. It looks like Gordon and Chase just came out of the karaoke bar behind them. Chinese lanterns. And this is the place where the second bank of Gotham is. So I'm assuming the first bank is like in the wider metropolitan district, right?
I guess so, yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah, hang on. What?
The Chinatown of Gotham gets the second one.
I do like that it's Chinatown as well, because the last two movies, obviously my favorite movies, but they both focus on very specific parts of Gotham. Like you see the town square a lot and things like that. Whereas this is a part you've not seen. So I'm excited. Like, ooh, this is new. It looks very different.
It has a zip line all set
Lots
up.
of neon.
Yep. Is it because it's a different part of town? Or I'm talking about in the world of the movie here, by the way. Or has Gotham remodeled?
I'm so into the idea that Chase Meridian and James Gordon were in a karaoke bar together prior to this scene. Because it explains so much to me now. Because it's like, he seems like he's half drunk because he's like, oh, I'm so dead. Should have seen this guy. Like, and then maybe that's why, like, oh, Chase Meridian's had a couple of drinks too. That's why she's so horned up. She's like, oh, hey, Batman, how's it going? Like,
She's got that liquid confidence flowing through her.
Yeah. We all get it going after a couple of drinks and some karaoke, you know.
Yeah. But what songs would James Gordon and Chase Meridian sing at the karaoke? That's the real question.
Ooh.
Yeah, send in your answers, people.
Like, I would go for Nicole Kidman. She'd be like, oh, she is Australian. I guess I come from a land down under. But then that's too obvious. That's like, plus Chase Meridian's not Australian herself, I guess. But
Yeah.
Jim Gordon's kind of like, he'd be like, oh yeah, Dolly Parton 9 to 5. Like, that's his. He seems like a worn down, like, oh, you know.
I don't know. I was hoping they'd do songs from Moulin Rouge. I could see Gordon going, "You can. You can.
But yeah, I'm ready to. Well, I think one additional thing I will say just before, like, cause I'm ready to wrap up this minute if you guys are. But
Yeah.
I will think because people might yell at us if we don't point it out. Because we mentioned that Nicole Kidman, of course, was in To Die For, but she co-starred in that movie with a young actor called Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep.
Who may go on to be in a Batman adjacent movie.
Nah, it's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen now.
And I will also say, at 6 seconds, just because you're here, Robin, and just because it just popped in my head, there's a guy standing there. He's got the glasses and kind of a little derby hat on and stuff. Looks very much like the Bookworm from the 1960 series, who of course was played by Roddy McDowall, who of course was in friggin' Fright Night. So there you go.
Everything's connected.
And who of course also played the Mad Hatter in the Batman anime series as well.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Oh.
And you also said Batman came in like a mannequin, and William Ragsdale is in Mannequin 2 on the Move.
Oh my god.
Everything
So
is
many
connected.
connections. So many connections.
On that bombshell, we will head off into the dark, dark night. Would both of you like to tell our wonderful listeners where they can find you once more? Tierney, we'll go with you first this time.
Well, the easiest way to find me is to go to onesteelsister.com, ONESTEELESISTER. That is because it has links to all the shows I've done, and including my guest appearances, including this one.
Hey.
As for me, I am on Fright Night Minute. It's a minute-by-minute podcast about Fright Night. And also, I hope to get started in the future, the Karate Kid Minute, which will tackle the Karate Kid franchise and completely ignore Jaden Smith.
Oh. Well, check all of that out, everybody, and come and chat to us on Facebook at the Bat Minute Listeners Cave, and check out our website now, thebatminute.com. Don't settle for any imitators. We're the Bat Minute, the number one, and we're on Instagram at the Bat Minute as well. Just go check all that stuff out. And I'm going to toss the coin. Can our guests come back again? Let's see. Do you want? What do you want? Heads or tails? You're going to die on one. You're going to come back on Friday on another.
I'm going to pick the opposite of what Tierney picks.
Okay.
No, I thought you were picking for both of us, and I was going to say, it's your turn to call.
No. You are picking for both. So I'm going to take that as the answer and say heads because you had tails last time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Heads.
Right. Dun, dun, dun. Heads. You get to come back on Friday. One of these days we're going to kill the guest. So we can only hope and dream.
You got to pace yourself. It's only the second week of this show.
I know. I'm just itching to get it out of my system. We need to assassinate somebody on this show. But yes, join us again on Friday to round out the week with more Bat Minute Forever.
Next time, he came in like a wrecking ball. A first flirtation nearly festers into a spat as an enchanted examiner compares the bat to a rat. But while our day's dark night exits stage right from a former Days of Thunderer, which partially purple plunderer's plan of plight is about to take flight? Find out Friday, same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.